With it being the 5th week of Season of the Deep in Destiny 2, I think it's time we talk about the different weapons that are available this season. I will be talking about the new Taken weapons, the Reprise Reckoning weapons, and the Reprise Last Wish weapons, along with the Ghost of the Deep dungeon weapons, each with their own video detailing why I personally want or am skipping them. That way, you can have a second opinion to ease the burden of all the new content this season dropped. For this first video, we're going to be talking about the Taken weapons, arguably the coolest weapons of the season. First up is the Targeted Rendition 120 hand cannon. Now, I've never been big on hand cannons, especially since I'm a PvE focused player, but this hand cannon has some rules I'm really excited to try out. Right now, I have it crafted, so I'm able to tinker and mess around with some perk combos. But if you have a random roll, the ones I would recommend solely because of the perks are triple tap in the first column and either keep away or explosive payload in the second. I think these perks will make the hand cannon viable to take down those bigger ads and make it fun to use. Then we have the Rapacious Appetite Stasis SMG. Personally, I absolutely love SMGs, so I've been eyeing this one since the season dropped. This comes with 4 times and perpetual motion in the first column, and frenzy and target lock and headstone in the second column. To me, this is a nice little perk pool, especially if you don't have a stasis SMG. This is definitely one I recommend picking up. Up next, we have the different times strand pulse rifle. Now, I'm not a big pulse rifle guy, especially in PvE, so I don't really know if this is any good or not. I used it for a bit when the season dropped, and it's alright. If you have a good pulse, I wouldn't worry too much about picking one of these up, but if I were to chase after one, the roles I would go for to focus on strand would be subsistence or outlaw in the first column, and hatchling, collective action, or golden tricorn in the second. Then we have the Until Its Return Strand Shotgun. Personally, this is my most sought after weapon of the seasonal batch. The reason I'm so excited to chase after this weapon specifically is because it's the first of its kind, a Strand Shotgun. I have no idea if it's good or bad, but I definitely want to chase it because of the utility it may have. Right now, the role I want on this one are Overflow in the first column and either Vorpal or the new perk Collective Action. I think that Overflow and either of the damage perks would be really good to melt bigger ads, and Overflow just adds that extra oomph that shotguns already have. This next weapon might be hit or miss for a lot of people. The weapon I'm talking about is the Stasis Sniper, a distant pull. It really isn't much of a priority for me. It's okay for the most part, but as far as I know, a world drop outclasses it. The only reason I would chase this thing is because I'm able to focus it, making it 10 times easier to grind for than a random world drop. But it's an alright option if you don't have a kinetic sniper rifle. The roles I would look out for are triple tap, overflow in the first column, and headstone collective obligation in the second. Finally, to wrap up the taken weapons, we have the Strand Sword Thin Precipice, which is all I need to say. If you're going for a nice little strand setup, go for it, but it's a sword, so I don't really see much value in it. I don't have any particular roles in mind for this one, I would just suggest personal preference, which for me would be Relentless Strikes in the first column and Chain Reaction in the second. This is probably the only weapon I will skip and not go out of my way to grind, just because swords aren't really as viable as rockets or linears for damage. For ad clear, maybe, but even then, that's a niche use. As I mentioned in the beginning, I'm going to be making more videos detailing the roles I'm pursuing for the Reckoning weapons and the Last Wish and Ghost of the Deep dungeon weapons. With the Last Wish weapons, I'll be lumping in the newest dungeon weapons as well, just for a heads up. If you stuck around to the end of the video, thank you so much. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I hope you have fun grinding out the newest season in Destiny 2.